Hey guys. All right. So I was supposed to go live. Supposed to bring on. I forgot about that part because I got really distracted. But I wanted to discuss. I know Danielle from Real Massacre Talk. She has more information on the case than I had, and I want to give her a chance to go ahead and share some of that information if she's able to. But I won't blame her if she is no longer available. But I wanted to go ahead and give her that chance. Um, so hopefully um, she'll see this and come on. Hold on, she's messaging me back. And hold on, hold on. Are you in the chat right now, Danielle? Okay. Sorry about this, guys. Give me 1 second here. Hey, guys. No, yeah, so Danielle is going to join us in just a second. Because I wanted to talk with her because I don't like leaving that one without more facts when I actually have someone who has collected some more facts on this case. So I didn't like leaving that kind of naked without that. But obviously, yeah, I got a little emotional on that last one, and that distracted me, and I guess I just kind of wanted to get the hell off. That happens to me once in a while. So the truth is, man, going live on here, man, it still scares the shit out of me. And I'm always just trying to I'm always just kind of trying to beat that fear as best as I can while getting everything, getting my point across as much as I can. What's up, niece? Hey, I appreciate you subscribing. That's awesome. So I don't know where Danielle is, though. She asked me to send a link, but I have to post it in the chat because I'm doing this from my laptop and I can't post the link through my phone. So hopefully she's in the chat. And Marvelous Mystery, where are you? Or Real Massacre Talk, where are you? Yeah, it's some nerve-wracking shit. And she's backstage. Here we go. Hey, Danielle, can you hear me okay?
Hey, guys. Yep, I hear you good.
Awesome.
All right, what's going on? What are we chatting about?
We are chatting about Heidi and baby Margot. And I know that you brought this case to my attention, just like you have brought every other case to my attention.
Yeah, I have a way of stumbling across those sometimes.
Right. And you are a true crime channel, and since I am not a true crime channel, I wanted to talk with you and be able to give my listeners who are true crime enthusiasts and people just genuinely, generally people who care about what's going on and want closure for Shane and his family. Um,
Absolutely.
so what do you give us a breakdown pretty quick of what you know so far in
What we have learned so far, unfortunately, Shane's story has changed twice. I don't know if that's because possibly nervousness. I see him being very nervous.
what and like specifically what did he change?
Just the times. Some of the times have changed. I don't have it all in front of me because I'm on my phone. One of the things that was changed was the timing of when the school called, I believe. That was one thing that was changed. Um, just little discrepancies here and there. Again, it could just be because he is beside himself. So I'm trying not to judge at this moment. We started this group this afternoon. I brought it to you and I'm like, hey, we need to do this. I don't know if it will be successful, but we're still going to do it. We're still going to discuss it in there. Um, I believe I have all of our admins. I had asked them because we were building a thread in another group, just different things that we had came across. There was apparent domestic violence between the two, between Shane and Heidi.
Are there any are have any police reports on that surfaced yet?
Not yet. No,
Okay.
these were friends of Heidi's that have made those statements publicly.
Close
Um,
friends?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So, at this point, I don't know what I think. I'm trying to keep an open mind like you are. I don't want to crucify him. I
Right.
also, in your last live that we just finished up, it crossed my mind. Was it last year that young mother, she was pregnant, like 8.5 months pregnant, and she was murdered and her baby was cut out of her belly.
Jesus.
Now, while Heidi is alive, to our knowledge, people will prey on newborns easily. There's a case out there, this may be the same case, that a lady had made a post about wanting to give away baby clothes in a Facebook group, and she did so in order to kill this mother and take her baby. So I think there's a lot of things still on the table when it comes to what's going on in this case. We don't know anything yet.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's pretty safe at this point, obviously, to assume that something happened to them. I mean, we just don't know what, but there's
Right,
there's there's definitely some foul play involved here. I
right.
mean, I think I saw you mention in the chat on my last live that the apartment door was left open.
Yes, that is what Shane has stated when he got home. At one point, he said he got home at 2. At another point, he said he got home at 1:40. But both times, he said that when he got home, the apartment door was open, the car seat was there, her purse was there. The only thing missing were her, which is Heidi, Margot, and Heidi's cell phone. He made a statement that he assumed maybe she went to one of the neighbors in the apartment complex that she's friends with, um, and didn't really do anything. I think the school contacted him about 6 p.m. because Silas, their son, was not picked up from school. So he went and picked Silas up from school and then contacted the cops.
So, do we know if there's any security footage from any of the surrounding? Well, I mean, it's an apartment; it's not a house, right?
Right, it's an apartment complex. I did ask that question and
So
I was
wait,
told that none
yeah.
of the surveillance worked, but this is what bothers me.
How is it even possible that something happened at that time of day, or you know what I mean? Because it happened in between the time that 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 she dropped off Silas to school, right?
Hmm. Right.
And and he and Shane gets home from work. right?
Right. And right. There is surveillance footage of her dropping Silas off at school.
Right, I
So
get
we
that. But what
know,
I'm saying is, how is there not even an eyewitness that's come forward yet after 3 days in the apartment complex that says anything? I mean,
right. So this is what's concerning to me. He gets home about, so let's say 2 o'clock. He gets home at 2 o'clock. She's not there. Margot's not there. Her car is outside. And it's not until 6 o'clock when the school calls that he becomes alarmed. Now he knows she's not home. Her car's outside. He knows that she hasn't picked that child up from school because her car is literally outside. So that's a problem.
right. And her door was unlocked, and
And the door,
but her keys and cell phone are missing.
right.
And so, and I want to know if because somebody mentioned that he went to AT&T or Verizon, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what phone provider, but he did go to the cell phone provider in an attempt to get cell phone records.
But the phone is disconnected, or
It's
it is.
shut. I believe it's powered down. I don't think we know if it's dead or if it was shut off because you can't really tell. There's no difference when your phone is like turned off, like hitting the power button turned off, or if it dies. It's still either way, there's no battery connection.
Or do we know if the police have gotten any pings on her cell phone?
They have released nothing. The only thing that has been released is him speaking.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's very, it seems like they're letting him talk a lot. And I don't know what that means.
That's what you want. That's what you
Right,
want.
right,
You want to be able to get this guy to talk and talk and talk, so that you can kind of understand or see if there's something some sort of difference in what he's saying, and changes in his story, or
right.
changes in his demeanor, anything.
Absolutely. I would think that her last cell phone ping would be at their apartment complex because that's where her car is. That's where all of her belongings are. The
Right.
only time I ever leave home without even my wallet is like if I'm running to the gas station and I just take my debit card. But anytime any of us leave home, I think we take our stuff with us. Men take their wallets, women take their purses.
Right. I have my wallet and keys are either in one spot or they're in my pocket. If they're not in that one spot, then there's something wrong. I lost them.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I am about my stuff. So
one thing I did notice about the surveillance footage, and it could just be that, you don't see the baby, but the surveillance footage at the school is just her.
Right.
She's not carrying a car seat. I don't know. I mean, the car seat could have been sitting on the floor. It could have been below camera level, anything like that. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that need answered in this. Hopefully everybody down in the chat will join us and help us because there's a lot.
Right.
There's a lot.
I don't imagine that I don't imagine that in the apartment complex, or at least in their building, there's a whole lot of security cameras or footage. Some do, but it depends on how old the place is.
Somebody said there's cameras, but they don't work, and that there's also a security gate that does not work.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like every fucking apartment complex I've ever lived in.
Right. Right.
So, which is really frustrating to me, because it's one of those things where your rent goes up every time you renew a lease, and yet they don't go around fixing the things that they're supposed to fix.
Right. Well, you're paying for security that you're not getting. And
Right.
apartment complexes probably need security more so than other places. Because
Sure.
there's such a vast array of people who live there.
So at this point, we have to rely on potential witnesses that could have just seen, and who knows what they actually saw.
Right. Right.
So
Later
you're going to have
on,
a shit ton of people living in an apartment complex going, yeah, I saw her,
Right,
and she was
right.
wearing a blue sweater. And then it's like, oh, well, she wasn't wearing a blue sweater that day. Oh, well, shit. Well, I saw her. I'm just telling
Right.
you I saw her. And you're going to get a whole shit ton of that. that it's just going to make it more difficult to narrow down any facts to track them down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so much unknown about this case. Even when we were, one of our other admins, we were discussing back and forth up until like 1:30 this morning, just different things we were finding. And there's very, very little fact that has been released by law enforcement to the media. And you even have to be careful with the media because they twist things. So, one
Right.
article might say one thing and the next article says something different. So you kind of got to find the truth in between all of that. Later, I do plan on looking at this apartment complex online and seeing what I can see, because I feel like if she was kidnapped, somebody would have saw that. Or if there was some type of violent altercation, somebody would have heard that. It's just
Yeah, especially in an apartment,
right.
like somebody, yeah, somebody would have had to have heard something,
Yeah.
if there was an altercation. So there's the question, if there's not an altercation, or no signs of an altercation, then there's the possibility that, um, that it was premeditated, um,
Right.
which is a scary thought.
It is scary. And this is one thing that bothers me, and I don't know why it bothers me. He talks about picking Silas up, and when Silas got home, Silas had not eaten all of his lunch and asked that Shane grill it for him. And Shane became emotional about that. And I don't know why that bothers me. I don't know if it's because I feel like maybe Silas saw something, or maybe he went to school upset over something, so he didn't eat his lunch. This is pure speculation. This is just my instincts, and I don't know why that bothers me, but it bothers me.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
um, but listening when your last live, listening to the audio alone and not watching the video, I got a very different impression. A very different impression. When I first watched that video, I was like, "Oh my god, what has he done?" But now that I've just listened to the audio and not watched the video, he sounds heartbroken and distraught. So I am going to be neutral on this one because I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, this is very, very. I mean, it's very strange right now because I'm very interested and somewhat fascinated right now with the eerie similarities to the Chris Watts case,
Yes.
and the distinct differences between Shane's behavior and Chris Watts's behavior in these interviews.
Yeah. Well, Chris Watts didn't shed a tear in his interview.
Not at
Not
all.
not one tear. He was very arrogant.
And he was speaking of Bella and Cece in a past tense.
Yes, he was. He was. Shane the entire time he was present tense.
And I'm getting a very similar demeanor between the two of them. Not demeanor, but I'm similar personalities, in the sense that, I don't think that either one of them are very well educated.
Yes.
Um, I think that they're labor workers. They
Right.
get up in the morning, and they get up and they do their hard work, their hard work labor job, and come home to their families.
Right.
Um, and and I, I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting a very different vibe from Shane than I was getting from Chris Watts, which is why I mean, I remember watching the Chris Watts interview, and the first time you sent it to me, you sent me that link and was like, check
Yeah.
this shit out.
Yeah.
And I
And
was like, I didn't say anything, but I was like, this motherfucker's lying, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
And I it's a blessing and a curse. When that happened with Chris Watts, we were still very, very actively covering the Roden case. And at the same time that Chris was arrested and confessed, there was a huge break in the Roden case. So I kind of stepped away from the Watts case and watched just in a distance, when I had time. And I'm kind of thankful for that because that whole case is a shit show, and I'm afraid this one right here is going to turn into the same thing. I don't want to see this case turn into that with Heidi and Margot. I am, because I think I've seen just over and over repetitively on social media, everybody's jumping to that conclusion. This is Chris Watts 2.0, and I don't think
Right.
that's fair.
Yeah, it's not fair, and it's a big, and I don't want. What I'm really afraid of is this community sensationalizing this case, which is
Right.
why I was so quick to jump on that, because I don't want it sensationalized in the sense that it was,
Right.
but at the same time, I want people to be aware of it, and I want the people. I want us to learn from our Chris Watts mistakes. As far as that goes. Now, again, people who thought Chris Watts was guilty, they were right. They were absolutely right. But
Right.
what I'm afraid of is I want people to look at this like instead of being so concerned with the drama that's going to come with it, because there's going to be a lot of drama that does come with it.
Right.
I want the focus to simply be justice. I want the focus to simply be closure for this family.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Right.
Because what happens is, with the Chris Watts case, I talked about it on a live the other night. Whether it was last night or the night before, I'm not totally sure, but I think that because it didn't go the way that everyone expected it to, everyone wanted a trial. Everybody was so split down the middle, like, how, everybody was, how dare you talk this way about Shanann, and how dare you talk this way? And things are going to come out about these people. These are regular people. These are
Right.
regular blue collar American family.
Right.
And
I've came back to this statement several times. Tisha and I actually live by this statement. None of us are perfect. Nobody. You're not perfect in life, and you're not perfect in death. And unfortunately, when you are a victim of a high profile crime, stuff just comes out of the woodwork. That's how it is.
it's how it is.
And it's not victim blaming, it's not victim shaming, because truth cannot be changed.
Right.
I just don't want to see the drama, I guess, come with this case. I really don't want to see that.
Right. I want to see people like really. I want to see this bring people together, not tear people apart.
Absolutely.
That if in a nutshell, if you're asking me why I'm bringing up Chris Watts, that and why I'm concerned about it, that's exactly my fear. I don't want to see this community get torn apart from it,
Right.
like the Chris Watts case did. I want to see people
Absolutely.
come together, and behave accordingly, and try to contribute productively.
Right. And that's one of the problems, is that people can't, I shouldn't say everyone. A lot of people struggle with thinking and analyzing a statement that they don't agree with, because
Right.
there's definitely a healthy way that you can discuss things with people that you don't agree with what they're saying, but you can talk, and you can, it's always interesting to hear other people's perspectives,
Right. Yeah.
because there's so many thought processes out there.
Right. I was real big in the group that I was in, with the Chris Watts case. I was real big on offering alternative perspective. I entertained the idea that Chris Watts might have been telling the truth before his guilty plea.
I remember seeing that.
I mean, because we didn't have anything indicating otherwise, that he
Right.
could have, even him lying in that interview, even him lying in that interview on his front porch, that also did not eliminate the possibility that he was telling the truth about Shanann, and him panicking and disposing of the bodies the way that he did.
Right.
Um, so it's really important that before we start judging someone's character, especially people that we don't know, we just try to do what we can with what's presented to us and try to collect facts, period.
Absolutely. And I think the more that we learn, even if the facts aren't pretty, even if the truth isn't pretty, I hope that if anything, all of us can learn from it. That's just the best that we can do. You follow these cases, you see things that happen, and just be aware, be accountable for your own bullshit at the end of the day. Because honestly, you never know when you could become a victim, and or you never know when things could go wrong in your life. So just, own your bullshit. And these
Yeah.
groups and these cases do bring awareness if you're able to think outside the
If
box and
if
not get
you use,
offended.
yeah, yeah, and if you use them productively, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no fucking reason why you can't go onto a group, because it's real easy. I don't belong to any I mean, I belong to your groups, but I haven't. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm traumatized. I'm
right.
traumatized by what I experienced with the Chris Watts case. I don't want to fight with anybody about something about something that's, just because somebody has opinions on someone that they don't even know, and I'm going to see that a lot, and it's going to get on my nerves, and I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, well, we're
Um,
not gonna deal with that because
for
I just to let everybody know we're,
because the
cutting it.
fact is, I mean,
Yeah,
who knows what's going to come out about Heidi? Who knows? We don't
right.
know.
Well, there's already stuff
And
out
and
about her. I'm not gonna
and
discuss it right now, but
right.
it's just people are people. We all make mistakes.
That's what I'm saying. And but the thing is I don't want people to, regardless of these things that come out about her, I don't want that to be confused with victim blaming. Um,
Right,
because uh it may absolutely have something to do with the case and what actually happened to her.
right.
It may be vital to trying to figure out her whereabouts.
I can tell you in all of the groups that we run, it always goes like this. We have people come out of the woodwork and they're pissed. They're furious. Right now Heidi is presumed alive. I pray that she's alive. I pray that her and Margot are safe. In our other groups, we're talking about deceased victims. Family and friends will come out of the woodwork and they hate us at first. They hate us because we're victim blaming, they say. Or just because she did this or he did this, it doesn't mean they deserve to die. And that is one thing that triggers me. I'm pretty laid back, but I actually have it tagged in our groups. I have it, those keywords are tagged in our groups. Didn't deserve to die, so that I get alerted when they're typed, because at no point do we ever say that anybody deserves to die.
Right. And
If we felt that way,
so
we wouldn't
there's
be
no
running
need
these
to,
groups.
right. So there's no need to even point that out. Like,
Right,
I used to get so annoyed that I used to have to make that disclaimer every time I fucking open my mouth.
right.
Every time I fucking open my mouth, I'd have to say, I'm not saying by any means that Shanann deserved to die, but if you look at her behavior here and you look at her behavior there, and then people would fucking jump down my throat. I'm like, listen, I'm
No,
not saying
you're just trying to point out how the relationship fell apart and how this all came about, because
right.
Shanann was not a perfect person, neither was Chris. It's just, man, that's how it goes.
Right. I mean, none of these people are perfect people, but they're
Right.
people,
Right.
and they deserve closure and they deserve justice.
They do. They do.
Um, so, so I think it's fair to say I felt like I was jumping to conclusions by saying, this family deserves justice. I don't think I am, because there's clearly foul play involved here. Um,
Absolutely
there's
100%.
yeah, there's clearly foul play. With the
I
very little that we know at this point, most of it points to foul play.
Right. Where the foul play comes in, that's what we don't know at this point. I had considered postpartum depression. Um,
Of
and the more
course.
the more I think about that, okay, that is possible, but she would be very close to her apartment, because she would have left on foot with no car, no diapers, no formula, no car seat, just herself, her baby, and her cell phone. So I would imagine the surrounding area of the apartment complex has surveillance videos here and there, businesses. The I think they're in Kyle, Texas, which is like a suburb of Austin. I'm sure they even have surveillance footage at stoplights or, because we're all being filmed all the time, it seems like. So,
Right. Yeah, I mean,
um,
and we're not going to get that if the police do their job correctly. If law enforcement does their job correctly, we're not going to get any of that information. Not until a suspect is in custody.
yes,
So that's so before anybody starts. Oh well, where's this and where's that? Well, understand how investigations work. The less the press knows about an ongoing investigation, the better.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Because not only do they twist things, I mean, I've literally had the facts in front of me from cases and then read the articles written off of those facts and read two totally different accounts from different media outlets, and neither one of them match the facts I have in front of me. So, and I think the less that is out there is better. And I think there's a reason they're not releasing information. Hopefully, they have the answers and they're going to find her. I am putting positive energy out there that her and that precious baby are okay because she is just a beautiful, beautiful baby. Um, and just to address some of the comments here, if we pull up facts, we're not judging.
yeah,
I'd say you and I both, and even Tisha's not here. She's at work right now, but you're a non-judgmental person and I am too. I mean, I can get a little judgy on other things, but when it comes to stuff like
sure.
this, I'm pretty open-minded and laid back, and I know you are. We don't judge. We don't judge.
Right.
We all have a past. We're all people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm nobody to judge anybody.
Right.
I fuck up to this day.
I fuck up every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm approaching 40, Will, and I still got my mom calling me to wake me up on time in the morning. So I'm far from perfect
Wow.
because I like sleep. So
Must be nice.
yeah,
um
hey,
yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just yeah, as far as what I'm hoping for anything to happen here is and I know that I'm new to the YouTube community. I know I'm very green, I know I'm very naive, and I know I'm very idealistic. Um but I feel like this is something this again is an opportunity for us to as a community to bring awareness and create a little credibility for this community to the outside world as far as how much we can show how much we care about these awful crimes and how much we're willing to do to to bring closure and justice to these families.
absolutely, absolutely. At this point, we want to bring Heidi and Margot home. Um, and we want to bring them home alive and safe. We also have to be realistic that something's not right here. So let's just stick together and try to find the truth. And we are not local to the area, but it was good to see some of your followers commenting that they were going to be helping search for her tonight. So hopefully they can find her. And,
Are you going to be covering this case extensively on your channel?
yes, we will. We will. Or I'll probably go live with you about it as well. Um, I want to get some more facts in front of me before we do that because we like to try to have the truth in front of us and not go off of Facebook posts or gossip and all that good stuff. We want to,
Right. You're more of the fact collector. I'm more
yeah,
of the fact analyzer.
it works, right?
I
It works
right.
really good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I do not even dare to fancy myself a true crime channel, even though I care about it. I don't seem to have I don't feel like I have the tools that other creators do. Um, and so I like to be able to promote anybody who is someone who handles their channel and their true crime channel in the right way, in a very productive way and in a very moving forward type of way, with a very little bullshit. And I think your channel is definitely one of those channels, and I really, really want to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you are going to do with this case.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, like and subscribe to Real. I posted the link before. I'm going to post it again. If you can, like and subscribe to Real Massacre Talk. And it is. Hold on a second here. Oh man, I hate when I get notifications. I go to click on something on the top of the screen, and then I end up clicking on that thing.
No problem. You guys can find us on realmassacretalk.com too. I think every link is on there to our Facebook, our Twitter. I don't know. We got all kinds of stuff out there. But on the Facebook Real Massacre Talk page, you guys can actually find our groups who Will is admitting in all of them. So he's helping us out and trying to observe some things and analyze and look at things from his perspective. So
nobody gives a shit about my perspective.
Yeah, they do. Come on. I love your perspective.
I'm joking.
We've often, in the Missy Beavers case, you actually changed my frame of mind on that one.
Really? How?
Because I never would have thought of your theory.
Yeah, that theory. Yeah,
never. But then I'm like, hey, that's possible, because I'm one of those people like, well, it could be this, or this. And then Will tells me this, and I'm like, holy shit, what if it's that?
I still stand by that theory.
Yeah, I know. You still
stand by that theory. But, I mean, the thing is some new fact on that case will come up, and then I'll be like, okay, that makes sense, but that shoots my theory down. But then somebody will shoot that theory down, and then I'm like, I'm back on my theory.
Right, right. I don't even think on that case at this point, I don't even think I have a theory anymore. Besides, I think that the spouse is the number one suspect. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm starting to my theory, if we're eliminating the spouse, my theory still stands, but I'm with you overall. Like, I think it makes most sense that the spouse had something to do with it. His behavior was weird. The father-in-law's behavior was fucking weird.
Yeah, it's actually very, very similar to the Teresa Severs case. So, yeah, we'll have to. Hopefully, they get some answers for Missy sometime soon, because it's been, gosh, it'll be 4 years in April. So,
yeah,
it's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I even the conspiracy theorist in me, which there isn't much of one, just to be clear about that.
Right.
But the conspiracy theorist in me, suspects law enforcement covering it up in some way,
right.
or at least just not having any interest. But why don't they have any interest? So that always bugs me when law enforcement just says, we did what we could, fuck it.
Right.
I just, it really bothers me. That's a big thing with me. That's what's going on. It's what I fear is happening with the Mandy Gorsuch case.
Yeah, that one is. I'd like to actually talk to you about that one on our channel, because I'm very disturbed by that.
Right. Yeah, and I still have my mods dropping the link to that petition, just simply until her friends and family tell me that there's no point in doing it anymore. But until I do, I mean, it could be years from now that I'm dropping that shit on my channel. So until our friends and family tell me that there's no point anymore, then my mods will be dropping the Mandy Gorsuch petition, Justice for Mandy, here. So, are you still there, Danielle? Oh, I think we lost Danielle, guys. So, all right. So that was Danielle with Real Massacre Talk. I if she can hear me. Thank you for joining me here. I really appreciate it. And this is my first time using StreamYard to collab with somebody, so I'm really hoping to do this with other creators as well. I love this feature and I love StreamYard, and I'm not using OBS anymore unless I absolutely have to. So yeah, this should be things should get interesting here. So guys, I appreciate you guys joining the chat and hitting the like button and everything. Um, and I appreciate all my subscribers. And we will be talking about this more soon. Thanks so much for listening, guys.